Ms. Andrews, you claim that a restaurant recently when Mr. Glenn approached you out of the blue and raised his pant leg to reveal a of your name on his leg.
Prepare to have your minds blown, folks. So one day out of the blue, Mr. Glenn randomly walks up to Ms. Donna in a restaurant and presents his leg as evidence. His leg, everyone. He raises his pant leg to reveal a tattoo of her name and expects her to believe he is her long-lost father. What a move. You cannot make this stuff up. Top-tier absurdity.
My biological father was in my... I've never known a Mr. Glenn. I don't know him.
You never knew Mr. Glenn?
I knew, but I did not know him enough to say, hey, you're mine.
This is Mr. Roger Andrews, the man who actually raised her, the man she knew as her father, whose picture she is holding right now. But Mr. Glenn over here, the man with the leg tattoo, believes a piece of inked skin is going to erase a lifetime of memories and love. This is already a masterclass in delusion. Make it make sense.
I was going to a beautiful restaurant to have something to eat and run into him. To me, that I was his daughter. And he showed me the tattoo on his leg, father.
Whoa, the raw emotion here is staggering. Imagine trying to enjoy a meal and a stranger approaches with this life-altering bombshell, and his grand proof is some ink on his skin. She is completely blindsided by this, and honestly, who wouldn't be? The audacity is just off the charts. This poor woman's world is being turned completely upside down in public. What a guy.
Started dating in 76, and then I left for about 8 months. When I left and I came back, Donna was born. She was about 2 old.
With Ms. Andrews' mother.
Right.
Mr. Glenn tells an interesting tale. He says he was in a relationship, but had to leave town for 8 months, came back and saw his girlfriend with a baby. He claims she kept him in the dark and never told him the baby was his. So he had to stay away because he had no confirmation, but still always knew in his heart the baby was his. Whoa, that's a lot to unpack.
Her father is dark complected, muscular built, and he's a very cocky. Now, when this man approached me and told me, I'm thinking this guy's on this plane with me because I know, and it sure isn't that.
Hold on. A psychic on a plane told her that her real father was a dark-skinned, muscular, cocky man, and that description just happens to match Mr. Glenn? Are you kidding me right now? So we are bringing psychic readings into a court of law as supporting evidence? This is pure, unadulterated chaos.
You felt like Mr. Glenn were an outsider looking in, and you felt like she had a good family.
Yes.
She was growing up,
went to
and everything right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, Judge Lake. Say it louder for the people in the back. The man who raised her was there for everything. Graduations, life events, all of it. Meanwhile, Mr. Glenn was just an outsider looking in, thinking about her every day but doing absolutely nothing. He stayed away because her life was good? What kind of twisted logic is that? This is just peak foolishness.
Keep in mind that Donna and Yolanda, if he had thought that he was her father, okay, keep in mind my mother had to get pregnant again to have my baby sister. And so if he's her to be a father.
Here comes the sister, and she is not playing games. She is calling him out directly for his impeccable timing. Isn't it convenient that he only shows up now, after the man who was a real father to Donna has passed away? She is asking all the right questions, and he has no good answers. The family is united against this man's sudden appearance.
And then it's like a slap in the face to my stepfather who's passed on. Later, after he's died, why didn't he mention it when he was alive so everybody's passed away?
The sister is doubling down, calling this whole situation a complete slap in the face to her stepfather, the man who was actually there, and she is 100% correct. The disrespect is unbelievable. For 30 years, this man, William, had the opportunity to be a father, and he chose not to. Now he wants to walk back in after all this time?
Miss Andrews, what
I
are
would
your
not
hopes?
call you that. Like, okay, if it does come back that you are my father, don't expect me to call you dad.
I wouldn't look for you to call me dad.
Don't expect me to get emotionally wrapped up into you.
Wow, Donna is making her position crystal clear before the results are even read. She is telling him that even if he is biologically her father, he will never be her dad. The emotional line has been drawn. This is not about finding a new father for her. This is about getting a painful, confusing answer. The tension is absolutely through the roof.
Mr. Glenn, you are her father.
Oh my God.
Mr. Hoyer, after 14 years of being in foster care, you desperately searched for your father. Sadly, that search ended when you learned that your alleged father, Mr. James Horn, was tragically killed.
What a gut-wrenching start, people. This young man, Mr. Hoyer, endures 14 years in the foster care system, desperately searching for a father he has never known. He finally gets a lead, only to discover the man is tragically deceased. Now, the man's family is rejecting him completely. The stakes could not be higher. He isn't just looking for an answer, he is looking for a family.
My mom used to be a stripper. I feel that if I did know my biological father, my life would have been totally different.
And so you were told that Mr. Horn was one of the men that potentially could be your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the plot thickens immediately. Mr. Hoyer's mother was a stripper, and the first person to ever suggest this paternal connection was his mother's new boyfriend, not his mother, but her new partner, who just happened to see a resemblance. What a completely reliable and not at all suspicious source of life-altering information. This is already shaping up to be an absolute spectacle.
So this is a photo of the man you were told is your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you look at this picture, do you see yourself?
I do in some ways. I see myself through the smile and through the forehead and the eyebrows.
Miss Porter, all of this time, these years before your brother passed, he never mentioned having a child.
Never.
So apparently Ms. Porter says her brother never mentioned having a child even before he died. In fact, on his deathbed, he told his family that he'd never had any children, and Ms. Porter is taking her brother's deathbed assertion at face value. I mean, dying men are famous for telling the truth and having clear minds in their last moments. Way to go, Ms. Porter.
My parents, they never accepted biracial relationships. Never. So we kept it a secret. We were really in love.
Had you planned to marry?
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
Seriously? A forbidden love? How dramatic. Ms. Gentry claims her own family's racism is why she never told Mr. Horn's family about their supposed relationship or the child. A secret so profound that apparently not a single person on his side of the family ever heard her name. This story sounds completely plausible and not at all like a convenient excuse.
The time we ever seen her was 2 weeks after the funeral. 2 weeks after my brother was put in the ground, this young lady came and knocked at my mother's door. She says, "I have your brother's child." I'm like,
Hold on, the story is changing again. Ms. Porter claims the mother showed up on their doorstep with the baby just 2 weeks after her brother's funeral to announce the big news. This is pure chaos. So, was it a top secret affair hidden from everyone, or was it a poorly timed public announcement? One of these narratives is completely fabricated, a masterclass in conflicting stories.
it's sad this young man got to hear what we got to say. But when she told him anything about my brother, it was awful. She told him he was a crackhead. She told him he was a drunk. She told him he wasn't no good.
Whoa! The accusations are just flying now. Ms. Porter claims the mother told her own son that his potential father was a crackhead and a drunk. Then she denies it, and the shouting erupts. This is not a courtroom, this is a three-ring circus, and these two are the main attractions. The absolute foolishness on display here is completely off the charts. This is truly peak absurdity.
Always be his mother.
You might always be the mother, but you're not a mama. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but this is a lot on my chest. It's a story to tell that I want the world to know how this woman did his child right here when he could have been at our household. He could have been with us.
And there it is, the knockout punch. You may be the mother, but you're not a mama. That is a direct hit, people. Ms. Porter is not holding back one bit, unloading decades of frustration right in the middle of the courtroom. You can feel the raw history and the pain in that single brutal sentence. What a show-stopping moment of pure confrontation.
Now, this first set of photos is Mr. Hoyer at 8 years old and a young picture of Mr. Horn. Do you see a resemblance?
Not in that one.
Do you see yourself at all?
I can see myself in the smile.
Okay, everyone, look at this. The side-by-side photo comparison, the resemblance is undeniable. Even Ms. Porter, who has been fighting this tooth and nail, can see it. The doubt is starting to creep in. This single picture might just change everything we thought we knew about this case. The plot is thickening right before our very eyes, folks.
Doctor comes and tells you you got to pull the plug on your child. You got to make a decision knowing that he don't have nothing left behind. Nothing. No kids, no nothing.
The emotion is just pouring out now. Ms. Porter is completely breaking down. After all that anger and denial, she's crying that she desperately wants him to be her nephew, to have a piece of her brother back. This is heart-wrenching. The stakes are now high for everyone in this room. What a tense, gut-punching moment to witness just before the judge finally reveals the truth.
That Mr. Horn is not likely your biological father.
Henderson, you claim that you believed Mr. Henderson was your biological father, but at the age of 15, Mr. Rycraw claimed he is your dad. You are doubtful and have opened today's case to get the truth. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
For For her entire life, Ms. Mercedes Henderson believed one man was her father. Then at 15, a completely different man shows up claiming the title. Now, everyone is here to sort out this absolute mess. This is not just a family tree, people. This is a whole twisted forest of confusion. The drama is wild.
When we met, I just felt it. I just felt that she was my daughter.
And then just to know that my sister's resting in her grave.
So this man's entire claim is based on a feeling? He just felt she was his daughter. Is that how biology works? You just get a gut feeling and suddenly you're a dad? Kudos for confidence, I suppose. But this is a paternity court, not a psychic hotline. This is absolutely staggering. Truly. What a guy.
Ashley, when I talked to her, I told her, if it's a girl, it's ours. If it's the boy, you gotta go.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did he just admit to giving his wife an ultimatum based on the baby's gender? If it's a girl, we keep it. If it's a boy, you have to leave. Are you kidding me right now? That is a level of unhinged logic I cannot comprehend. This man's reasoning is completely off the charts. What an absolutely wild thing to say out loud.
My sister, when it comes to telling the truth on certain things, they'll beat around the bush. And like she didn't answer him when she came back, she didn't tell her the truth either.
So the aunt, the architect of all this drama, is defending her decision to drop this bomb. She says her sister would beat around the bush and wouldn't tell the truth. Isn't that something? One sister hides the truth and the other decides to reveal it in the most chaotic way possible. This is a full-blown TV drama unfolding right before our eyes, not a family.
Tell the truth.
Because they both was in a relationship. They both were married. And then when my sister called and told me, and I said, it's not my place to tell.
And there she goes. The aunt says her sister was having an affair with a married man. So, we have a husband who suspects his wife, a wife who was cheating, and a lover who was also married. This is a 5-star, premium-grade mess. Everyone. It is a tangled web of cooked-up lies and secrets.
I was tired of just beating around the bush, not saying nothing about it. So I went on and told her, do you want to meet your daddy?
So you called her that day?
I called her that day.
And Miss Henderson?
I asked him, did he want to meet his daughter? I called him, and he came to Revival, and I said, you want to meet?
Hold on, the aunt is the one who orchestrated this entire meeting? She just decided to call her niece and say, hey, come meet your real father. The audacity is incredible. She just blew up decades of family structure on a whim, creating pure chaos for everyone involved. This is not normal behavior.
Miss Henderson, the other man, the third man, the man your mother told you is your biological father. This court was able to get a hold of those test results.
What in the world is happening now? Judge Lake reveals the court got the results from a third man tested and the aunt hits the floor. A third man and the aunt just collapses. This is fast becoming weird. We need a paramedic for the drama because this situation has officially gone off the rails. You cannot make this kind of thing up, folks.
Do you believe she's your sister?
I don't. I just don't have that connection with her that I have with my other siblings. Can't say that she isn't my sister, but I just don't believe that she's my sister.
Now, LaToya Rycroft Banks, the other daughter, is here, and she says she does not believe Mercedes is her sister. She says she feels no connection to her whatsoever. Just when you thought this could not get any more complicated, they add another layer of doubt and family drama right before the results. You can almost hear how hard everyone's heart is beating. This is absolutely incredible.
Mr. Henderson, you are not the father. The next result, Mr. Rycroft, you are not the father.
Here we go, the moment of truth. Judge Lake has the results. Mr. Henderson, you are not the father. Okay, so it has to be Mr. Rycroft, right? Wrong. Mr. Rycroft, you are also not the father. Neither of them. A double negative. The devastation is real. This poor woman's entire world just crumbled. What a heartbreaking conclusion.
Miss Henderson, do you need to just sit down? You want to sit down, honey? Mr. Deggs, you are here today hoping you are the biological father of the defendant's 3-year-old son, Jason. You have petitioned the court for a paternity test because you claim your ex, Ms. Guerin, first led you to believe that you were Jason's dad.
Let's dive right in. This man is here hoping he is the father to Jason. He wants this. But wait, the mother of this child waits until the baby is 6 months old to casually mention, oh, by the way, you might not be the dad. 6 entire months of this man bonding with a child. The audacity is already at astronomical levels.
Truck loaded up with everything. And I went upstairs to grab my last box, and my best friend at the time pulled me aside and told me him and my brother had both slept with me.
Whoa! So, not only did Megan cheat on him, even his own best friend pulled him aside to confess? And the confession is that both the best friend and his brother slept with her? Are you kidding me? This is a full-blown three-ring circus of family destruction. What an absolute bombshell to drop on someone. My jaw is on the floor.
Beginning of our relationship. It was even before we were a month together.
Ms. Guerin, boy, before you get to what he did, I want to know, is it true?
Yes, it is true. I do admit that I did do those things. I did cheat on him with his best friend.
And here it comes. I cheated because he cheated. Ms. Guerin says she cheated because Mr. Deggs cheated barely 1 month into their relationship. Well, folks, you know how the old saying goes, an eye for an eye makes the world go blind. And in the case of Deggs versus Guerin, the blind played with nukes, and now everybody has to deal with it.
It's not because I'm a bad person. At the time, I was lacking affection from him. He was never home. He was always...
I work, Your Honor. I work full time to make sure that her nails and her hair get done.
Here we go, the semblance card. So her defense for her actions is that she was lacking affection because he was working to provide a life for them. The nerve of that excuse is staggering. Poor you. Your man was busy earning money to support you, so you had to find comfort elsewhere. Make it make sense, people. This is top-tier delusion on full display.
How did you end up with his brother, too?
His brother, I was really young at the time. And
you keep talking about how young you were. If you were so young, you shouldn't have been sleeping with everybody.
Let's just pause and appreciate the judge's face. The pure, unadulterated shock when he confirms it was his best friend and his brother. You can see the moment her brain has to reboot to process this level of treachery. This isn't just a simple case anymore. It's a tragedy playing out in real time. She's staring into the abyss of human foolishness. And frankly, so are we all.
He was hurt, Ms. Guerin?
I'm not the only one that in this
I had a rough childhood.
I had to deal with so many different women.
But you're the one that's here with a paternity issue regarding the child in question.
Okay, this reaches peak insanity. Ms. Guerin claims the only reason she waited 6 months to confess was because she wanted the family united after sleeping with his brother and best friend. How does that compute? She purposefully deceived him for months, letting him connect with the child, then pulled this? This isn't wanting a family. This sounds more like manipulation 101. Wow.
The women that you
you love your free time and hanging out with this dude here because you left Jason for 3 months with your mom and me so that I could take care of him.
Can you believe this? Now a new boyfriend, Christopher, enters the chat. And not only that, but Jason claims she left their son with her mother for 3 entire months so she could be with this new guy. 3 months. What kind of mother just abandons her child like that to start a new romance? The plot thickens, and it is a thick, murky, and deeply unsettling plot.
She texted him and was like, you better keep your job, honey, because all I want is your money.
I never,
ever said
that.
And she was like, all I want is your money. All
I made my own money.
Kudos to Dominique for showing up with the receipts. So, while Jason was trying to build a life with her, Megan was allegedly texting him things like, all I want is your money? Isn't that something? It paints a very clear picture, doesn't it? Suddenly her motives seem a lot less about lacking affection and a lot more about financial convenience. What a truly spectacular move from this woman.
I want to be in Jason's life. I love Jason.
That's why he's
all
called
my heart
us
and
for
soul.
And if he is your son, are you willing to step up?
Yes, of
in
course.
every way?
In every way.
And if he's not?
If he's not, then it's going to be really hard for me.
Jerome, I think it's time for the results.
Here we are, the moment of truth. The judge has the results in her hand, and the tension is absolutely electric. Look at Jason's face. The man is praying, he is tormented, his entire world is hanging in the balance. And then look at Megan. Is that a smirk? The contrast is just wild. One person is hoping for a family, the other seems to be anticipating a victory.
Mr. Day, you are not the father. Ms. England, you say that you and Mr. Kaiser have been together for 6 years, have a 3-year-old son together, but claim he's now denying your 6-month-old son Isaac, and you're here to prove that he is the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, people, we are diving right in. Mrs. England says she took this man from ashy to classy. What a way to start. That is some top-tier pettiness, and we are barely 1 minute into the show. She claims she turned him into the man he is, and now he is not supporting their baby. The audacity is off the charts already. This is going to be a wild one.
Y'all, she knows why. She knows why I denied the baby. She stayed gone for 3 months with this other man.
Did you move in with another man,
Yes,
Miss
Your Honor.
England?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
So wait, you all in a relationship. I want to get the
Yes,
background.
Did he just say she stayed with another man for 3 entire months? And she just admitted it, no hesitation whatsoever. What is happening? So, they were in a relationship, but she just took a 3-month vacation to live with some other guy? Make it make sense. The judge looks completely stunned. This is pure foolishness from the jump.
The man she was cheating on me with.
I was not cheating. I never wanted
She said she wasn't cheating on me, right? But she had the other man's phone number long before she moved out.
Here we go with the semantics card. It was not cheating, she says, because they were separated. Seriously? She was supposedly reconciling with him while still seeing the other man, but it's not cheating? This is a masterclass in spinning your own web of lies. Kudos to her for the mental gymnastics, but nobody is buying that. He looks at her like she's a lying alien from Mars, as he should.
Your Honor, my sister passed away, and instead of this man right here taking care of me and hugging me and telling me everything would be okay, he started to fight and left.
But
He left. He wasn't there. The other man is the one who was texting my phone saying, "Are you okay?"
So now the story is that her sister passed away and he was not there for her, which is why she went to the other man for comfort. What a move. Is she actually looking for emotional support, or is she looking for something else? He says he was there for her. This is peak manipulation. Someone is not telling the whole story here.
Your Honor, on the 25th of March is the last time I had been sexual with the other man.
On the 25th of March,
Yes.
you were intimate with the other guy.
Yes, ma'am.
Keep going.
Okay.
The calendar of chaos. Get this. She was intimate with the other guy on March 25th, but got back with Mr. Kaiser on the 28th, and they were intimate for 5 straight days. 5. She has this timeline mapped out like a military operation. The level of detail is absolutely staggering. What is actually going through her mind to present this as solid proof? My mind is completely blown right now.
I did not have intercourse with that man anymore.
We slept together from the 28th until the 31st, right?
No,
She
21st.
left on the 30th with the other guy.
And the plot thickens into a soup of mess. He just claimed she left again on April 3rd and went back to the other guy for 2 weeks. Are you kidding me? This timeline is more convoluted than a soap opera. So she was bouncing between these 2 men like a pinball. No wonder he is sitting here demanding a DNA test. This whole situation is just a dumpster fire of bad decisions.
He's also tongue-tied. Genetic trait. The baby
Okay.
looks like our 3-year-old child.
Okay.
Same trait.
Okay.
And you're referring to a medical condition.
Yes, ma'am.
She don't know if that guy's father.
That's not
is
true,
tongue-tied.
'cause I-
What if the other guy didn't have it?
Natal teeth. The baby was born with teeth and he is tongue-tied, just like someone in Mr. Kaiser's family. Is this her brilliant closing argument? Love magically determines biology now, does it? The judge is trying so hard to keep a straight face, but you can see the disbelief. This has to be one of the most absurd pieces of evidence ever presented in this courtroom.
Ron, could you please escort Dr. McLaurin into the courtroom? She is a doctor of medical dentistry.
To make sense of the back and forth, Judge Lake brings in an expert witness to either confirm or disprove Ms. England's claim that baby Isaac's natal teeth and tongue tie are genetic. I mean, on the surface, her argument that since Mr. Kisser is tongue-tied and his cousin had natal teeth, the child is his, is completely watertight. In comes the doctor of medical dentistry.
I want that to be my son, Your Honor. I do want it to be my son, but I just want to make sure it's my son. I want to make sure.
That's why you're here. That's
Right.
why you're here. And luckily, thank goodness, I have those results for you.
Here it is, folks, the moment of truth. The judge has the envelope and the tension is incredibly thick. Look at him. He is already breaking down in tears before the results are even read. He is completely convinced this is not his child. She looks like she is about to either explode or faint. This is what it all comes down to. The silence is deafening.
Mr. Kaiser, you are not the father.
You sure?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kaiser.
You sure?
Mr. Wheat, you filed your case because you claim you've been robbed as a father. You are desperate to prove to the defendant that you fathered her 19-year-old daughter, Sierra Sloan.
Robbed of fatherhood? This is an incredible way to start. He feels he was the victim of a grand theft. He is so desperate to prove his paternity after a single night together nearly 2 decades ago. Is this a genuine cry for a lost connection? Or is he just looking to rewrite history? We are about to find out.
Because I was 19, I was young, dumb, and full of eggs, and I was doing me.
Young, dumb, and full of eggs and doing me. I don't think I've ever heard it explained like that.
Young, dumb, and full of eggs. That is a direct quote. You cannot make this up. She delivers this line with the confidence of a CEO presenting a quarterly report. This is a mission statement dressed up as an excuse. What a magnificent, unapologetic explanation for her behavior. And considering that she has paternity doubt for her own daughter, she isn't too far off the mark.
So how many guys were you with during the window of time your daughter was conceived?
4.
4 different guys, and Mr. Wheat is one of them.
Yes.
So can you tell the court, how is it you were with these guys?
Whoa, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 possible fathers? Are you kidding me? This woman was running a paternity lottery and everyone got a ticket. How does one even keep track of that? The logistics are absolutely staggering. This poor girl's family tree isn't a tree. It's a tangled web of confusion. Make it make sense, because right now I cannot.
And into labor?
She called me that day and told me, and I told her I'll come up there in a little bit, okay? Well, my family went up there. I called her back, said, hey, I'm on my way. She told me not to bother.
He was told, don't bother coming to the hospital. Seriously. Imagine believing you might be the father, getting the call that she's in labor, and then being told to just stay home. That is cold. It's a calculated move to push him out of the picture entirely. What was her endgame here? To simply erase one of the potential candidates from the equation? This is pure pettiness.
Ryder testified that they went to go see Sierra in the nursery. What was their response?
Well, when they came back to my house, all of them said, congratulations, you're a dad. All right, well, I didn't believe them. Mom came in.
Mr. Wheat says he had doubts, but when she said she was in labor, he sent his family to be with her, and his mother came back home, asked him if he wanted to see his baby, and pulled out a picture of him as a baby. That's how much his mom said Sierra looked like him. The resemblance was uncanny almost, so he simply went with his mother's intuition. But intuition is one thing, and genetics is another.
Yes, Your Honor. Mac Grider did. It's been on and off drama for 19 years.
Well, Mac Grider is here, and he believes he could be Sierra's father. Jerome, will you please escort Mr. Grider into the courtroom?
Now a third man enters the arena. It is an absolute circus in here. Mr. Grider, the man on the birth certificate, now joins the chaos. The situation is so absurd that even Judge Lake appears to be losing her patience. This episode is an absolute clown show, and we have front row seats.
Yes, ma'am. I was there, went to the doctor appointments. I named her, I signed the birth certificate.
And Sierra, I see your face. This must be so confusing, honey.
So Mr. Grider claims he was there for doctor appointments and even named the baby Sierra. What a guy. Meanwhile, David was just a one-night encounter from a club. This completely changes the narrative. One man was building a life with her, while the other was just a memory. The odds are certainly not looking good for our original plaintiff, are they? This gets more complicated by the minute.
I think when I was 15, my mom said that I look like David because apparently me and him have the freckle line. And then I would sit there and smile sometimes the way he did and lay down the way he did and everything.
The freckle line excuse is absurd. Her mother literally told her she resembled David because they share, of all things, freckles. That is the most creative, manipulative reasoning I have ever heard. She has been feeding her daughter these cooked up lies for years just to keep the confusion going. This poor young woman deserves so much better.
It would be nice if he was, or if Mac was still. I would like to get to know him better too.
And so, Mr. Grider, why do you feel emotional?
A lot. It's just a lot right now, going through all this.
This is the moment of truth. Look at the pain on Sierra's face. After 19 years of living in a state of uncertainty, she is finally about to get an answer. Both men are filled with hope and anxiety. One believes his mother's word, the other clings to a one-night possibility. The tension is palpable. Who will it be? This is what it all comes down to, folks.
Mr. Grider, you are not the father. Mr. Wheat, you are not the father.
Okay, paternity court is open for Haddle versus Andrews. 8 long years of an on-again, off-again roller coaster, and now a 1-year-old baby, Amarella, is caught in the middle. Ms. Haddle's here to prove he's the dad, but Mr. Andrews' doubts apparently already ended things 3 months ago. Let the games begin.
Mr. Andrews, you say you can't trust Ms. Haddle because she's a serial cheater, and you are 100% certain that Amarella's not your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, Mr. Andrews isn't just doubting, he's 100% certain and calling Ms. Haddle a serial cheater. Can't trust her, he says. But wait, hold up. Ms. Haddle says he was the one stepping out early in the relationship, getting another woman pregnant while living with her, and that caused her to move away to Kansas? Pot, meet kettle.
Started our relationship back, and I had planned on having another child with him. So I did get pregnant. Amarella came, and I think the doubts came because she looks different than our other child.
So after all that drama, they got back together and planned to have Amarella, and now he doubts her because she looks different from their other child they already share. This isn't his first rodeo with Ms. Hadel. Why the sudden doubt now, Mr. Andrews? Very convenient, isn't it? But Mr. Andrews has things to say. He claims she told him about 2 other potential daddies just 4 months ago and called the baby another man's name. If that's true, Ms. Hadel, you got some serious explaining to do.
These are the reasons you believe you are not the father. You saw sexual text messages from another man. Is that correct?
Correct.
Explain.
The same person who I see this text message from is the same guy who she was having an affair with all along from the whole get-go. So when I seen that text message,
and here comes the evidence board. 4 points, each more damning than the last. Sending sexual text messages with another guy, jumping out the window at midnight, a used condom, tales of other fathers. Wow. And Ms. Hadel admits the texts are from the same guy she was intimate with before. Yes, Your Honor, the texts were sexual, and yes, she was intimate with him. Jesus, what?
So next piece of evidence, you jumped out of the window at 3 a.m.
Correct.
Who jumped out the window?
She did.
I was trying to get free from him.
But see, the whole
He's
thing
crazy.
is, she leave the house every time. It's always when a private call comes, or it's after 3 a.m.
Now this just gets wilder. Mr. Andrews claims Ms. Hadel jumped out the window at 3 a.m. for a midnight rendezvous with her lover. He says that 3 a.m. was the only time her paramour could get away from his wife, and she replies that she jumped out the window at 3 for her safety and to seek comfort in the arms of said paramour. Can't believe your ears? You're not alone. Neither can the judge.
3 a.m.
This was after 7.5 years. Like, this stuff built up. It was more or less, you're doing this to me. I'm gonna do it back to you.
Listen, you all have been together on and off for 8 years. He has 2 other children outside, 3 other children outside of the relationship?
Ms. Hadel has her reasons. She claims she's merely returning the energy, but even Judge Lake is losing patience with this mess. Ms. Hadel fires back, claiming he has 7 kids total, 3 conceived with other women during their chaotic relationship. Apparently, Mr. Andrews is many things, but he definitely is not a lazy baby factory manager. Mr. Andrews claims she's lying, but does he even believe himself?
Take my daughter to daycare every morning. I don't want to get the dress, take daycare every morning. Little dirty people couldn't even take the condom and throw it away.
If you found a condom in the car.
So wait.
I showed you.
It was a dirty condom?
It was a dirty condom. It wasn't just a pack
I don't agree with that because I didn't see it. He didn't show me nothing. He showed me a box.
Ms. Hadel.
Now to the condom. Mr. Andrews alleges that one morning while taking his child to the daycare, he found a condom, a used condom, in the car. He's lying, says Ms. Hadel. She did not have intercows in the car, and the condoms in the car were in fact unopened, unrolled, and definitely unused. The look of absolute disgust on Judge Lake's face says it all. This situation is far from ideal, particularly with kids in the picture.
And out of spite, she'd just go to run in her mouth, and when she get mad, she'll tell on herself.
He's full of it, but I apologize, Your Honor.
She told me 2 other men was daddy.
His mouth, from the time I wake up in the morning till the time I go to sleep, does not stop, and all he does all damn day is talk about how bad of a person that I am. So when I went out and cheated on him, it was to find.
The final, and what is almost certainly for Mr. Andrews the most painful, point is that 4 months previously, in the heat of an argument, Ms. Hadel told him that there were 2 other guys who were potentially Amarella's father. She says he's bending the truth, and they proceed to have a marathon back and forth. Just how were they together for 8 years?
While she was pregnant, she was having an affair. And yes, I still stay with her.
Hold on, slow down. When she was pregnant, repeat that testimony.
I was getting text messages from guys.
You were?
She was.
Were you or was she?
She.
Mr. Andrews drops yet another bombshell. Ms. Hadel was having affairs while she was pregnant with Amarella, but she says she can have friends because Mr. Andrews had friends too. And after all, she needed comfort and security, and this absolutely cannot be sacrificed in the altar of fidelity. She claims he's delusional and she wants to move on.
You can't be proud of that. I don't care what he did, she did, this, that. You are barely mentioning the children in here today. It's just about what one of you did to the other.
Your Honor, I'm not bringing up any dirt. Like I said, I'm just responding to what he's saying, but I'm only here for Amarella, so.
Judge Lake proceeds to give them a much-needed lecture, calling them out on their parental and moral lapses. Infidelity, inconsistency, and a rather disturbing reciprocal toxicity seems to be a running theme in this relationship. I mean, one wonders how they've been able to manage a relationship for 8 whole years. Fed up with the bickering, she calls for the results of the paternity test.
Mr. Andrews, you are the father. How do you feel in this moment?
I love her regardless. It's my daughters.
Mr. Lang, you and your Ms. Lang have been waiting in if you're indeed the biological father of daughter Janelle. Now, although you have serious doubt, Mr. Lang, you want nothing more.
Another day, another courtroom bombshell. Mr. Lang and his mother are here demanding answers about baby Janelle, 1 year old and already in the middle of parental warfare. Mr. Lang is having second thoughts. He hopes he's the father. Why? Meanwhile, Ms. Brown and her mother, Ms. Collier, are standing tall like they have already won the case. And let's not ignore the irony. They're wondering why a man who's ghosted his child for months is suddenly concerned. Incredible.
Because I found out that I slept with my son's best friend and know whether it's my or Mr. Dixon's.
Oh, really? Is that true?
No, that's not true, Your Honor. I've never slept with Mr. Dixon. Dixon and Mr. Lang have been not friends.
Ms. Lang wastes no time. Apparently, Ms. Brown slept with Mr. Lang's best friend. Yes, you heard that right, his best friend. But Ms. Brown calls it all cap. She insists she's never touched the alleged friend, who, by the way, hasn't been a friend in ages. Just enemies now. Convenient, no? Ms. Brown flips the narrative saying, Mr. Lang has cheated with so many women. 50 to 100 is the estimate. Sir, are you building a harem or what? She throws his mother under the bus too, saying Ms. Lang knew and helped cover it up. Family that lies together, cries together.
And it wasn't her house. She didn't lie about him. She didn't lie for him. And I find out she's lying for him.
Please. Girl, why don't I tell you the truth? It's my girlfriend.
No, I don't have no reason to lie for her.
Now the mothers step in, and it's gloves off. Ms. Collier calls Ms. Lang the original homewrecker, claiming she inserted herself into everything like a glitch in the Matrix. Ms. Lang, unbothered, argues that this is about her grandchild, which is code for buzz off. It escalates fast into finger-pointing, shouting, and the glorious chant of, "Who the pappy? This is a cage match."
You were in a relationship. It didn't work. And find out you're pregnant?
Yes.
And what happened?
I was at the doctor. I came home and I gave him the paper saying he kept the paper. He kept it with him. He even took it to school to shit. He stayed with me through the whole entire pregnancy, birth, and delivery.
Flashback time. Ms. Brown explains that after her breakup with Mr. Lang because of his incessant cheating, she found out she was pregnant just before she got into college, and Mr. Lang was thrilled. He was flaunting those pregnancy confirmation papers like they were the golden tickets of fatherhood. He even begged her not to abort until doubt came knocking in the form of an ex-best friend.
Not at that time, no, I didn't.
And what made you start to have doubt?
When Mr. Dixon got in the pit, and he had told me to stop messing with her because the baby she's pregnant with could possibly be his.
Oh, so he informs you that she's having a baby father and you are happy about it.
Mr. Lang confirms the baby fever and then immediately shifts gears. He says Mr. Dixon, the ex-best friend, hit him up, claiming possible paternity. Add to that, he saw Dixon and Brown riding around, cuddling, and doing the full Facebook photo op tour. So yes, doubt came with a GPS location and selfie receipts. Yet despite this visual evidence and the alleged voicemail from Dixon himself, what did Jimmy do? He signed the birth certificate. Isn't the logic top tier?
Up until this point, you were supportive, thought you had a grandchild coming, you were excited,
Yes,
ready. That moment you said,
wait a minute, the seed of doubt was planted. But my son, don't be mean to her, don't be anything.
And now the infamous kitchen confrontation. Ms. Lang recalls the day her son screamed, "She had sex with my best friend," across the kitchen table. At that moment, she says, the seed of doubt was planted. Honestly, sounds more like a whole forest of distrust. Before that, she claimed she had no doubt and was ecstatic about the grandchild. It's fascinating how one overheard argument shifted her entire perspective from happy grandma to chief paternity investigator.
when you looked at this baby, did you think the baby was yours?
He thought it was his, and I interjected his. She looked like him to me too. Right there. I said, "Oh, look at your baby." Woo. And then he pulled the hat off.
Even at the birth, Mr. Lang was busy analyzing baby features like a forensic scientist. The hairline didn't match, but here's the kicker. Ms. Lang admits he did say the baby looked like him. And yet, Ms. Lang admits he did initially say the baby looked like him. So which is it, Sherlock? Are we looking at a doppelganger or decoy? Because you can't call her your twin one day and stranger danger the next.
It says, "Say we don't look alike, laugh out loud, boy, that's all me." Right. That's you posting about the baby, right?
I don't know if this is my baby or this and that. I've been there the whole
What does "say we don't look alike" mean?
Receipts galore. Mr. Lang has been posting pics with captions like, "Yeah, that's my baby," and "Boy, that's all me." Mic drop. He's publicly bragging about their resemblance, using it to silence haters online. This is pure gold standard hypocrisy. How can you post this, practically screaming "my child," and then stand in court claiming doubt based on a hairline and a friend's alleged claim? Make it make sense.
Okay, I think we can go back into Facebook Messenger.
Okay, so hold on. I've heard that. Now I want to come to you because I want to hear your side of this.
Okay.
Are you on Facebook with the kids?
No.
Yes.
She's going back 2 years ago.
And here comes the fireworks. Ms. Brown accuses Ms. Lang of shoehorning herself into online conversations and arguments, throwing shade and insults. Ms. Lang denies arguing with kids online. She was just stating her opinion. Ms. Collier isn't buying it. Ms. Lang finally admits she did comment to state her opinion. of course, because that's the natural progression of maternal love. Online comment wars between ex-lovers.
There's two things. I offered to pay for a DNA test. When all this, she would talk mess behind my back about the baby, Mr. Langs, but when I confronted her, she said she never said it. But when the topic of the baby not being there.
We learned that Ms. Collier tried to pay for a DNA test ages ago, but Ms. Lang allegedly declined, saying she'd know her grandchild just by looking. Yes, folks, welcome to eyeball DNA testing, proudly brought to you by Pure Delusion. This is one hell of a mess. One grandma screams at the other, fingers are wagged, name-calling begins. Phew, somebody save them from themselves.
Only way we're gonna be able to move forward, the results.
Thank you.
Envelope before they set me on. Then we're gonna all be up in here.
And finally, the drum roll. Judge Lake opens the envelope. It hangs in the balance now, and nothing, absolutely nothing, prepares both of the parties for the absolute bombshell of a verdict they're going to get. Each family huddled together, holding hands, preparing themselves for the punch of the results, and Judge Lake doesn't disappoint. Have a look for yourself. What an ending.
Mr. Lang, you are not. Are you serious? Okay, that's a lie. That is a lie.
Mr. Dark, you say the defendant is a promiscuous liar who broke your heart 4 years ago, stepping out on your then relationship. You admit to having a one-night stand with her 2 years ago, but are furious Ms. Bailey is now claiming you fathered her 11-month-old son.
And we're off. We're not even 5 minutes in and shoes have already been fired, shells exploded, and mud flung in the case of Dark v. Bailey. Mr. Dark says Ms. Bailey, the heartbreaker from 4 years ago, lured him into a one-night stand post-breakup. Now there's a baby, and she wants him to step up, and wants him to step up. Spicy, isn't it?
With Ms. Bailey at that point.
I tried to work past it, again, because of the things that we had already discussed of us being a family and us, you know, trying to work things out, possibly us getting married or whatever the case may be, but I tried to work it past for about approximately a year or so.
Now poor Mr. Dark tells his side from the in the beginning. Spoiler alert, this is classic traveling husband cuckolded by wife, but with a twist. Ms. Bailey's best friend snitches, and her defense is that she thought he was cheating on her. An eye for an eye, they say, makes the world go blind. Let's see if there are any eyes left in the world by the end of this episode.
And you're saying the last time you were really intimate was around in March?
Yes.
If Jameer's birth date is November 13, 2016, then that means the conception window would be February 17th to February 24th, 2016.
Right.
And you said you all weren't intimate until March.
Here comes the chart. Mr. Dark rejects the claim of paternity because, according to his calculations, the birth of the baby doesn't coincide with the window of conception and when himself and Ms. Baylor were last in touch. In fact, he believes she was pregnant before they were intimate. He believes he was deceived. A crutch, he says. Pretty strong argument, to be honest.
And the reason why I signed the birth certificate, to answer your question, is because you told me at the hospital that if I didn't sign it right then I wouldn't have another opportunity to sign it. That's what you told me right there at the hospital.
No, I didn't. You didn't have to sign it. I didn't force you to sign it. You signed it on your own.
If I didn't sign it, what was gonna happen?
But he signed the birth certificate, didn't he? Why? Mr. Dark has the answer. He signed because he was browbeaten into signing. Despite his doubts, he decided to err on the side of caution, signed, did all his fatherly duties just in case the baby was his. Ms. Bailey says he's lying and he signed of his own free will. Considering your performance up to this point, you do not strike me as a particularly convincing figure, Ms. Bailey. Sorry.
You don't understand. I have 3 other kids that I take care of by myself.
Right. And you've had this same problem previously.
Okay, but I made sure that I wasn't gonna do it again. Like, I was gonna be the only person.
Mr. Dark, ever prepared, launches the ICBM, the mother of all bombs. The Tsar Bomba. This isn't Ms. Bailey's first paternity dispute. One of her 3 older children was discovered not to be fathered by who she claimed fathered it. The implications are insane. I mean, given her history, what's to say she isn't plotting some mischief? What can I say? History repeats itself, I guess.
Ms. Bradley, thank you for joining us. You are what relationship to Mr. Dark?
I'm his current girlfriend and I'm pregnant with his child.
Girlfriend. Okay. What would you like to tell the court?
Well, first, in my personal opinion, I don't feel like the baby looks like him. That's just my personal opinion.
So you do not feel like there is a physical resemblance?
No.
Oh, What do we have here? A witness. Mr. Dark's witness is his current girlfriend, who by the way is pregnant with what could possibly be his second child in as many years. Here's the kicker. She's going to be having her baby within the exact same time frame as Ms. Bailey had hers. And her argument is the same as her boyfriend's. Mr. Dark couldn't have had that child because the conception window did not add up. She also claims the child looks nothing like Mr. Dark. The famous eye test, guaranteed 100% success rate, yeah?
Of attached men. That's what she liked.
Okay. A history of attached men?
Yes, ma'am.
I grew up without my parents, so I want him to be there for my baby.
It's like, to me, I think she likes to destroy homes.
Mr. Brown goes full-on beast mode, wrecking reputations with impunity. He puts on his therapist hat and says, Miss Bailey's issue is that she is a home wrecker, with an eye for attached men. She calls Cap, claiming that even after the breakup, Mr. Brown was calling and begging to be allowed the warm embrace of her arms. Are you entertained? He says it's all a lie, and it was she who called asking him to come over to what is basically a Netflix and chill, not minding that he had a new girlfriend.
And my whole family,
for all
the whole
family
said that that's not your child.
So when you brought Jameer with you to your family member's funeral,
yes, ma'am,
your whole family said to you that's not your child.
The whole family. My mama said, boy, if you don't get that baby out of here.
You see, the beautiful thing about the eye test is the sheer number of people who are experts in this field. Like Mr. Black's family, for example. He says he took baby Jameer to his granny's funeral and the whole family ran all of the experiments and peer review in absolute milliseconds, and they all told him the child wasn't his. Is this brother cooking or what?
That he step up and that he do for my baby. Like, I don't understand. And I grew up without my parents, so I want him to be there for Jameer.
So you're saying you grew up without your parents?
I did.
Still sobbing, Ms. Bailey says all she wants is for the DNA test to prove her right. She says growing without her parents was hard for her, and she wants to break the cycle. Wonderful sentiments, Ms. Bailey, but isn't being a single mom with 4 kids antithetical to your stated beliefs? Do you see the cognitive dissonance?
This courtroom is about, of course, resolving paternity issues for children, but it's also about empowering and informing.
After hearing both sides of this messy story, Judge Lake calls for DNA test results. The tension is clearly written on the faces of both parties, and you almost feel pity for them. As she reads out the results, there is a smile of victory, of vindication, and of closure on one face, and on the other, sadness. Plus a hint of shame, maybe. Have a look yourself.
Mr. Dark, you are the father. You are the father.
I told you that he was yours.
Ms. Booker, you say that since you were a young girl, your mother, to me, Mr. Booker, was your father. Then, when you were 13 years old, he could be your biological.
Oh, buckle up, buttercups. Mom casually drops that she was in an open relationship, juggling 2 men, yet somehow still leaning toward one being the dad. But she can't be 100% sure. Surprised? Neither are we. Open relationships make for complicated paternity stories, and this one's off to a messy start. Color me shocked. Who could have possibly predicted this outcome?
I first started noticing at a very sisters, and they're both very skinny with blonde hair and blue eyes. I look nothing like them, their biological father, Mr. Booker.
Susan, bless her heart, noticed from a young age that she didn't exactly match the family decor. 2 sisters, skinny, blonde, blue-eyed clones of dad number 1, Mr. Booker. Susan, not so much, but guess who she does resemble? Surprise, surprise, it's dad number 2, Mr. Chaussee, the other guy mom was seeing. It's almost like basic genetics might be trying to tell us something here, but let's not jump to logical conclusions just yet.
How did you feel? I just knew in my heart that and I could never get her to admit it until I finally Mr. Chaussee aside and I said, look at me, just look in my eyes and say I'm not yours.
The plot thickens, or rather, the lies unravel. Susan confronts Mr. Chaussee, the man who raised her, and he doesn't deny it outright. He says there's a possibility and blames Mom for insisting it was Booker. And then the kicker, Mom had told Susan they never even met before her birth. So Chaussee just outed her timeline lies. It's chaos, but it's also starting to make a lot of sense. This is just beautiful chaos unfolding right here.
And he said there might be a small one, but she has reassured him. And I said, how is there a chance if you guys have never met before?
Wait, hold the phone. Now Mr. Chaussee, the maybe dad who raised her, backpedals on the lie Mom apparently told Susan and him. He now admits they did meet before Susan was born, contradicting Mom's earlier story to Susan. But wait, it gets better. He insists all they did was have dinner at a hotel. Right, just dinner at a hotel. Nothing else to see here, folks. Just 2 platonic friends sharing a meal in a room, typically booked by the hour. Totally normal.
And you weren't buying that?
I was 13, I wasn't 5.
And what did you say to Mr. Booker?
I called Mr. Booker and I asked him, do you think Mr. Chaussee could be my father?
Enter Mr. Booker, the alleged biological father numero uno. When Susan asks him if Mr. Schoss could be her dad, what does he say? He doesn't deny it. He says there's a big chance, because her mother was seeing both men at the same time. It's open relationship math, people. Oh, snap. Mr. Booker is throwing mom right under the bus, backing it up and running her over again for good measure. No loyalty among players in this open relationship, apparently.
Mr. Booker suggested a swingers club to try to fix our marriage.
A swingers club to fix the marriage?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Now, I did not want to do this at all.
Oh, this is rich. How did mom meet Mr. Chaussee? At a swingers club, as suggested by Mr. Booker, to fix their marriage. You heard that right, and she had to get half drunk just to walk in. The plan? Let's heal our marriage by swapping partners. Seeing our partners bond with random strangers is more efficient and less expensive than therapy? No? Honestly, this is high-octane dysfunction with a side of denial. Gold. Pure gold.
As your daughter was growing up, you told her Mr. Booker was her father.
Correct.
Because you had 2 other children with him. You didn't want her to feel like she was different, trying to save your marriage. What was your reason for not being honest with her?
Susan confronts mom again about the lie, the whole "we never met before you were born" versus the "okay, we had dinner at a hotel" contradiction. Mom's response, "I didn't want you to get hurt." Oh, the classic, "I lied for your own good defense," because keeping someone in the dark about their fundamental identity for decades isn't hurtful at all, right? The mental gymnastics required to justify this level of deception are truly Olympic level.
When you're pregnant, do you know in your own mind that this could be Mr. Chaussee's baby or...
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't.
So how is it you only thought Mr. Booker could be father?
Okay, Judge Lake cuts right to it. When mom was pregnant, did she know it could be either man's baby? After all the hemming and hawing, the open relationship, the swingers club intro, the overlapping timelines, mom looks the judge dead in the eye and says, "No, I don't." You don't know? Or you conveniently choose not to know? The level of willful ignorance on display here is staggering. It's less whoops and more strategic amnesia.
That she's Mr. Booker's child and that's the only possibility.
Right.
I need to understand that decision.
The truth is, if I was afraid if I that I was pregnant, that he would leave.
Finally, the million-dollar question, why lie? Why say Mr. Booker was the only possible dad when Mr. Schoss was clearly in the mix? Mom finally admits she was scared Mr. Schoss would leave her if he found out she was pregnant. So it wasn't about protecting Susan, it was about protecting the new guy. Priorities, folks. Not maternal protection, not honesty, just plain old relationship survival tactics.
Miss Booker, I can see it in your eyes. I'm coming from across the lot for you.
It's just gonna change a lot, just to know.
He's accepted her as my daughter.
Mr. Booker at this point interjects and gives a little speech about the great big infallible eye test. He says that when she was born, just a tiny little baby, she looked like his 2 older kids. But now, even though she looks different older now, anybody remember mom's nature v nurture argument? She's his kid nonetheless, and he's always seen her in that light. Very touching, Mr. Booker. Very moving speech there.
Booker v. Chaussee Booker, pertaining to whether Mr. Chaussee or Mr. Booker is the biological father of Susan Booker. It has been determined by this court.
The results are in. Drum roll. And Mr. Booker, you are the father. Wow. After all that drama, all the lies mom spun, all the "he looks just like Chaussee" evidence Susan presented, it was the original guy all along. Susan looks completely floored, then relieved, crying and hugging mom, who, let's be real, still has a lot to answer for. And then a big hug for the dads. Crying, hugging, what a ride. Guess the swingers club didn't completely wreck the original lineup.
Ms. Booker's biological father is Mr. Booker.
Oh my God.
Trust me.
Ms. Garcia, you claim that before your father's death, Ms. Hoffman, who is 31 years younger than him and 6 years younger than you, contacted you claiming to already have 1 child by your dad.
Whoa. Okay, starting off intense. So, the daughter, Ms. Garcia, is here because this other woman, Ms. Hoffman, popped up before her dad died, claiming not just 1, but 2 kids by him, and the age difference is wild. Ms. Hoffman is 31 years younger than the dad, and even 6 years younger than Ms. Garcia herself. That's already a complicated situation. This feels like it's going to be heavy.
Please explain.
Well, I'm basically here on behalf of my dad because he passed away about 2 years ago. He was not sure that if they were his or not because she had gotten around.
Okay, Ms. Garcia is clarifying her position. She's representing her dad, who passed away 2 years ago, and he apparently had doubts himself. She says he wasn't sure if the kids were his because Ms. Hoffman had gotten around. Oof, gotten around is definitely fighting words in paternity court. That throws some serious shade and doubt on Ms. Hoffman's claims right from the start, according to the dad's perspective relayed by his daughter. This adds another layer. It's not just the daughter doubting, but she claims the father doubted too.
And so was it a committed relationship?
Yes.
You were?
It was on and off.
But it was on and off?
Yes.
And so when it was off, were you intimate with anybody else?
No.
So their relationship was on and off. That's a classic around these parts. Judge Lake immediately jumps on it, asking the crucial question, was Ms. Hoffman seeing anyone else during the off times? Ms. Hoffman gives a very firm no, like zero hesitation. Okay, so she's claiming exclusivity, even if the relationship itself wasn't stable. We'll see if that holds up.
Dating, you hanging out together?
It was more like hanging out in a truck.
Hanging out in a truck?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, well, we're here to be honest and tell the truth. So you would hang out in his truck and, I'm sorry?
Goof around in the beginning, and then we got into the whole thing on how you get pregnant.
All right. At the point you found out you were pregnant, did you let Ms. Garcia's father know?
Yes, I did.
Wait, what? Hanging out in his truck, goof around, and then we got into how you get pregnant. That's quite the description of how the relationship progressed to intimacy. Anywho, she gets pregnant and tells Mr. Sonicson. He gets mad at her and flat out denies paternity. I struggle to understand though. There are 2 kids, and he denied fathering the first one. Just how and why did she have another by him?
And you had a good relationship with your dad?
I'm very close with my dad, yes.
And there was never a mention that there may be a child on the way and you may have a little sister?
No.
And how old was Claudia when you first heard about her, that she potentially could be your sister?
Around 2 years old.
2?
And she contacted me about it.
And what happened in that conversation?
This is wild. Ms. Garcia didn't even know about the first child, Claudia, until she was 2 years old, and she found out because Ms. Hoffman messaged her on Facebook saying, hey, your dad has a 2-year-old daughter. Oh, and by the way, I'm pregnant with another one by him too. No warning and out of the blue, absolute bombshell delivery method. No wonder she had both father and daughter stressing.
And why are you crying now?
Because it hurts. I want my kid to sit there and be around their family, not just my part of the family. I want them to know.
Okay, now Ms. Hoffman is getting emotional. She's crying, saying it hurts because she wants her kids to know their father's family and have that connection. She mentions not wanting them to go through what she went through. Ms. Garcia has her reservations though. She claims this emotional plea is new to her, as the only time Ms. Huffman ever got in touch wasn't to seek familial bond, but to ask for money and more money. Shade. Insane shade.
That one day she was at his house and he couldn't find her, so he went looking for her, and he saw her in the backyard with a neighbor and she was giving him oral sex.
Hold on, Ms. Garcia just dropped a major accusation. She claims her dad told her he doubted paternity because he actually caught Ms. Hoffman performing oral sex on their neighbor in the backyard. What? Is you jaw on the floor yet? Completely explains why the father would deny paternity and why he might believe Ms. Hoffman got around. That is incredibly specific and scandalous. This case just took a sharp turn into serious accusations. Wow.
Hello, Ms. Wilkerson.
Hi, Your Honor.
Thank you so much for coming into the courtroom today. I have a question for you about what you uncovered as you spoke to and interviewed Ms. Huffman.
While assisting the defendant, Ms. Huffman was setting up a DNA test for her and her daughter, she unknowingly admitted that she tested another man in the past.
The plot thickens again. A court employee, Avery, just came out with some crucial info. She says that while arranging the DNA test, Ms. Hoffman unknowingly admitted that she had already tested another man against Claudia in the past. Okay, that totally contradicts Ms. Hoffman's earlier claim of 100% certainty and her denial of other partners. Why test someone else if you were so sure? This suggests she definitely had doubts herself at some point. What a slip up. Big revelation ahead.
She was messing with the other staff in the carnival, and that he didn't think that they were his because of the whole situation with the neighbor and then messing with the people in the carnival.
Ms. Garcia repeats that her father's doubts was caused by the situation with the neighbor and the fact that Ms. Huffman was also having sexual relations with other people at the carnival where they worked. Ms. Hoffman denies the allegations and stands her ground. I know for a fact that he's their father, but considering that another man asked for a DNA test, it surely isn't unreasonable to assume she was seeing someone else, is it?
What are your hopes, Ms. Huffman?
To get the results for my kids, be able to financially make it with them with their health issue and not have to struggle. I'm going without to do for them. There's times where I don't even have a phone because I'm putting it in for the kids.
In a sweet, sweet moment, both women agreed that they'd be extremely happy if it turns out that Mr. Sonicson is indeed the girl's biological father. Truly inspiring. Now to the results. And hold on, because they will shock you.
The percentage of relatedness between Emily Huffman and Carrie Garcia is 99.9%. You are related. Ms. Hernandez, 4 years ago, you met and then married your much younger but seemingly perfect man. You say your estranged husband started denying you and your now 3-year-old daughter, Liana.
That age is just a number has been proven to be a sad untruth in the case of Hernandez v. Hernandez. 35-year-old Ms. Hernandez says she married her dream man, 10 years younger, but he denied paternity when a younger woman came along. Mr. Hernandez claps back. She was meeting other men while he was working at sea. Buckle up. This one's going to be messy and memorable.
2 days later, I told him that I was pregnant with my daughter.
Mr. Hernandez, what is your account?
When we first got together, before she got pregnant, before I found out she was pregnant, I was gone for 2 weeks. When I come back in, I find out a week later, family member tells me that she's pregnant.
That's not true.
I was always out fishing, and that's when I found out.
Mr. H says the timeline doesn't add up. His alibi is that he was away at sea for 2 weeks before she got pregnant. He also says he learned of her pregnancy from her family member. So basically, he wasn't physically present during the conception window, and most definitely cannot be the father of the child. Interesting. Now, whether that alibi holds water depends on what receipts he can show, but either way, this claim is a major wrench in the story.
Someone told you her ex was in your bed?
Yes.
Who, while you're out fishing?
Yes.
Who told you that?
A family member.
A family member of yours or hers?
Mine.
How would they know who I had in my bed? Yeah, coming out of the house because you and him are friends.
Escalation. Mr. Hernandez claims he was told by his family members she was in bed with her ex while he was away working. She replies and says his family members did see him in the house because he is friends with Mr. Hernandez. Mr. H stands on business and doubles down, saying he believes his friend is Lijana's father because his gut tells him so. Gut-feeling believers must be giddy with joy.
So why is your ex even coming in and out of the house, period, while he's at work?
He goes there to visit and talk to my mother. I told my ex, don't come around.
I've been hearing that for how many years? Over 5 years?
The question is, why does her ex still come around? Ms. Hernandez explains it away and says he was at the house to visit her mother, as her mom is also like a mom to him. Okay, I'm trying my absolute best not to burst out laughing here. Very convenient, which has just done a fine job at not easing any suspicions. What an absolute mess.
After the birth at the hospital?
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened at the birth?
2 family members came to the hospital and told me that's not my kid.
Which family members of whom? Her family members, yours?
Hers.
Hers?
Who?
Your mother.
This is wild. Mr. H drops a bombshell, claiming that after the baby was born, 2 of her family members, including her mom, told him the baby wasn't his. Her reply? Lies. Her mother never liked Mr. Hernandez, and she had lied to spite him. Now, if 2 people from your own corner are throwing shade, that's gonna raise eyebrows. Are they bitter, or are they confirming what Mr. H already suspects?
Liana does not have Mr. Hernandez's last name.
No, she does not.
But you do.
Yes.
He does, but she doesn't.
When I was in the hospital after I had her, he wanted me to name her his last name. I didn't want to. Just in case something like this happened, that he denied her.
Hold on. Ms. Hernandez admits she didn't give the baby Mr. Hernandez's last name just in case he ever denied paternity. That's a choice. Precaution or premonition? If this logic doesn't make the tiniest bit of sense to you, don't worry. It makes 2 of us. The math isn't mathing, and my head hurts, man. Ouch.
I don't know why he's denying her because she looks exactly like him when she was a baby, and now she looks like me.
Do I have blue eyes, blonde hair, and I'm white? No, Your Honor. I'm Hispanic, black hair,
All that's
and brown
from
eyes.
me, my side.
Where's the blonde hair?
My mother had light hair, my aunt had light hair.
Behold the world-famous, internationally renowned, and most definitely infallible eye test. Ms. H says the baby looked like Mr. H as a newborn. Mr. H disagrees, says he's Hispanic with brown eyes and black hair, while baby Liana is blonde and blue-eyed. Checkmate. To him, it's obvious. To us, jury's out.
Miss Sandoval, what have you heard?
I've heard and read messages from her and her herself say, "You're not the father, sign over the rights for the child."
No,
and
I did
the
not
other
say
day, before all this happened, she calls me and tells me to sign over the rights.
No, I asked you.
Full name to her.
Now to witnesses, or witness, really. Mr. Hernandez's girlfriend, Ms. Sandoval, testifies that she's personally heard Ms. Hernandez on phone calls and read text messages where Ms. Hernandez told Mr. Hernandez that he isn't Liana's father and asked him to sign over his parental rights. Ms. H looking mighty Seuss now, don't she? I mean, everything seems to align with Mr. H's narrative.
So he is the legal father?
Yes.
So you can get state order child support?
He's on child support since February, Your Honor.
Okay.
I haven't gotten a dime.
All right, well, he gonna have to start paying.
Yes, he is.
Like always, Ms. Hernandez easily explains everything away. Mr. Hernandez wasn't in her daughter's life, so she asked him to sign over his parental rights. She also says he hasn't supported her financially, and despite being on child support, he hasn't paid a dime. But then Mr. Hernandez claims she's a leech and only wants him for the money. Claims and counterclaims? Haha.
Ms. Hernandez, what are your hopes?
I want him to be in her life and support her financially.
All right. Mr. Hernandez, if you find out that you are her biological father, will you be in her life?
If she is, then yes.
Moment of truth. Despite all the accusations from family, squabbles over naming and the birth certificate, the girlfriend's testimony, the judge reads out the results to a Ms. Hernandez rock solid in her belief, and a Mr. Hernandez anxiously waiting for the confirmation he so badly needs. Everything has led to this. The lies, the claims, the counterclaims. Judge Lake's envelope is about to make or break a family's future. Here it goes.
Mr. Hernandez, you are the father.
Told you.
I can see that made you emotional.
The air in the courtroom hung thick with the smell of yearning as Mr. Brooks summoned Ms. Gooley in a bid to prove that he's the father of her 18-years-old son. He was separated from the child when he was a year old. Ms. Gooley on the other HNAD claims that Mr. Brooks is not her son's father because she cheated on him during the relationship. Will Mr. Brooks finally be able to reunite with his long-lost son, or will his yearning tarry?
I watched him cut her open. I watched him pull my baby out. I watched him cry. They couldn't get him quiet. I told the doctors and the nurse, give me my baby. And I said, E-man, this daddy, I'm here, baby. And he shot up. And at that run, I knew he was my son from day one.
Ms. Gooley said she led Mr. Brooks to believe that he was the father of the child during her pregnancy. He wanted to be there for her child, despite knowing another man was in the picture. Mr. Brooks refuted the claim that it was a lie. The other man lived in her house. She believed the man was the father of her son. He was just a friend who was there for her when Mr. Brooks wasn't there for her.
Why is that?
Because he wants to be there for my child, but he knew that there was another man that was at my house all the time.
That's a lie.
He used to take Fred to work.
How you gonna take me where I had my own damn car?
Mr. Brooks, I need you to watch your language.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Brooks submitted some pictures as evidence to show he was a great father, and he was there when the child was born. He said he has been carrying them for 17 years now. The judge asked him how he was separated from the child 17 years ago. He said Ms. Gooley called the child services on him while he was at home with the kids.
And I got pictures.
Let me see those pictures, please, sir.
I've been having these pictures with me for 17 years. She don't have none. Matter of fact, I got about 60 pictures, and she's not in none of them.
These are pictures you carried for 17 years,
yes,
believing that you are Mr. McDonald's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gooley countered him. She revealed it was Mr. Brooks that had initially called child services on her, trying to break up her family. Mr. Brooks said it was all a lie, that he was the one at home taking care of the kids, paying the bills. Ms. Gooley asked him, when did he ever pay the bills? Mr. Brooks shot back at her that when did she ever have a job?
My kids away from me. That's why defects was called. And I know this for a fact because the lawyer that was representing my case told me.
I ain't calling him defect.
His other family member called defects.
Well, why you want to blame me? I don't call.
I'm not blaming you. I'm stating a fact.
The judge asked Mr. Brooks why was the child taken away because Ms. Gooley was a drug addict when he, a biological parent, was around. Ms. Gooley answered that it was because Mr. Brooks refused to legitimize his child. She said he was scared to do a DNA test because he knew he was not the father. Mr. Brooks said the last time he saw his son was when the child services took him away.
If the child's biological father was present and able to take care of him,
he would not legitimize my child because, see, that's why I don't think he's the father. If he was the father, my mother was willing to pay for him to legitimize my son.
Ms. Gooley said when she gave birth at the hospital, she told Mr. Brooks that the child wasn't his. Mr. Brooks said she was lying. He reiterated that he's a good man, which Ms. Gooley affirmed. She said he has a history of claiming kids that weren't his, including her daughter. She said after 10 years of having unprotected sex with Mr. Brooks, why didn't she get pregnant? She doesn't believe that Mr. Brooks is fertile.
He didn't say nothing.
Wait a minute, so when they pulled the baby out, you looked at him and said, is he yours?
Yes, I did.
You said that because what, you wanted him to look at the baby and see if he thought it looked like him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McDonald, the 18-year-old son, was called to the stands. He said he believes that Mr. Brooks was his biological father. He revealed that he was nervous about reuniting with his mother. He was also aware of the other man claiming to be his father. The man reached out to him on Facebook, and he made it known to the man that Mr. Brooks was the man he always knew as his father.
Mr. Brooks states that he believes he's your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe Mr. Brooks is your father?
Yes, ma'am.
You do? That's been your understanding your whole life?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Gooley was still adamant that it was impossible for Mr. Brooks to be her son's father because she has never gotten pregnant for him despite being together for 10 years prior. She said that Mr. Brooks hasn't done anything of note for Mr. McDonald ever since he reunited with him. A war of words ensued between both parents, with the son looking on with sadness on his face.
Why is he not even a possibility in your mind if you were intimate?
I mean, we were together for so long and I never got pregnant before. I don't understand.
God said one time.
You know, and he's up here like he wants to be this great father and everything. He ain't done nothing for Demarion since Demarion's been back in our life.
The judge admonished both parents, letting them know that their child is the important issue here. She also sympathized with Mr. Brooks, who's desperately hoping that McDonald is his son since he doesn't have any other kids. She asked Mr. McDonald if he was prepared for the outcome of the results. He slowly answered that he wants to know who his real father is. Only the DNA results can give this family the truth.
Mr. Brooks, you are his father.
All right! Thank you.
Ms. Beto, you say you were furious when the defendant asked you for a DNA test on your 7-month-old daughter, Ileana. Now you claim that request has broken up your happy home. Mr. Bolton, you state you have reason to believe Ms. Beto's child may not be your biological daughter.
Apples, they say, never fall too far from the tree, but this was not the case for Mr. Bolton, who is quite confident that he's not the father of Ms. Beto's child. He claims the child is too light-skinned to be his. Ms. Beto, on the other hand, is adamant that Mr. Bolton is the father of her 7-month-old daughter, Ileana. Will this be just a case of color being only skin deep, or will it be more?
Mr. Bolton, so what has happened since you were last here?
Since last time I was in court, I was very devastated to find out the news about the young boy not being mine. But in the same sense, I was happy because Ms. Beto was pregnant with a child. The child was supposed to be mine.
Mr. Bolton revealed that when the child was born at the hospital, the doctor asked him if he was sure he was the father because the baby was white. The entire courtroom gasped. He submitted a photo of when the child was born to the court. Ms. Beto countered him. She said she was mixed, and Mr. Bolton was also mixed. So there's every possibility for her child to white.
The doctor that gave the procedure to deliver the baby, he handed me the baby and he looked at me. He said, "Are you sure this baby's yours?" And I looked at the doctor. I looked at the doctor. I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Because this baby's white."
The judge commiserated with Mr. Bolton, that his doubts for paternity were valid since it was the doctor that planted the seed. Ms. Beto said she knows it can be overwhelming, but if you have a loyal and faithful woman, you have nothing to fear. Mr. Bolton said he never had any doubts about Ms. Beto's faithfulness, until the doctor asked him that question.
Are you sure this is your child? That's doubt.
They doubt. She mine, I know. She his, I know.
But that's what I'm saying. For the father, that can be overwhelming.
It can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming.
When they got home from the hospital, they had friends and family over. They commented on the beauty of the baby before asking him whether it was his. Some sections of the audience started laughing. Ms. Beto said that was not what they said. She said they made some comments, but she defended her daughter. Mr. Bolton said their boss came over to the house, and he also asked him if he was the father.
We had friends and family come over to see the baby, then looking at the baby like, "Oh, she's beautiful, she's beautiful. Is she yours?"
That's not what they said, Your Honor. What they were saying, maybe on his side, but my side, they did make some comments. But of course, I defended. That's my daughter.
Mr. Bolton said he's been down this road before. When he was younger, he dated a stripper that got pregnant for him and disappeared. When she returned, he finally found out the baby wasn't his. He narrated 2 other incidents where he was a victim of paternity fraud. One of those incidents has brought him to paternity court before, and it ended in tears. So he has a strong reason to quell his fears about Ms. Beto's child.
This situation here is like, when I was young, I was dating a stripper, and she had a baby, all right? She disappeared. What reason, I don't know, but when she finally came back, we figured out that baby wasn't mine. Got my name off the birth certificate, finally.
turned her attention to Ms. Beto. She asked her if she had ever slept with anyone during her window of conception. Ms. Beto said she had broken up with Mr. Bolton the previous because of his infidelity. Mr. Bolton said he was being falsely accused by Ms. Beto because some of his friends were promiscuous. He said that's what eventually made him cheat, and he admitted it.
I have to ask you, during the last couple years, how old is Ileana? She's 7 months. Last year and a half or so, have you slept with anybody else?
We actually broke up last year around August, and it was due to infidelity on his behalf.
Well, Your Honor, she was accusing me the whole time that I was cheating. I got a couple of buddies I hang out with before. I got a couple of buddies I hang out with.
Ms. Beto said she found some text messages on Mr. Bolton's phone from another woman. She ended up confronting the woman. Mr. Bolton also accused her of cheating with another man. Ms. Beto said she did it the right way because she was single then. The whole courtroom clapped. She said she met another guy she liked and they only slept together twice.
Your Honor, he didn't admit to cheating. I saw the texts from the female, all right, and I confronted him like a woman should. I'm gonna confront. And when I found the information, and me and the woman, we also talked because I believe that a man will lie to you or anyone that's gonna play that deceitful role.
Mr. Bolton believes this other man could be that father of the child. He said when they got back together, Ms. Beto was still in constant communication with the other guy. Ms. Beto said he only saw text messages from the guy. She never responded to any of them. Mr. Bolton said he saw pictures of the guy and his child together on Ms. Beto's phone. He said the other man's child looked like his own. The whole courtroom gasped.
When she came back together, we got together. We moved back in the same house together. But in the midst of this, she's still going out there to her family's house, doing their hair, coming back home, and guess what? Middle of the night, I pick up the phone, text messages from this guy.
Ms. Beto said if Mr. Bolton felt that way, he shouldn't have waited for 7 months to come forward with his grievances. Ms. Beto said Mr. Bolton was a good person, but he should not pay attention to what other people say. Mr. Bolton said if Ms. Beto was loyal, why was she upset when he brought up a DNA test? Ms. Beto shot back at him that it's because she was faithful. Only the DNA results can solve this lover's spat.
Mr. Bolton, you are her father.
You don't got no questions for me.
Everything speaks for itself, because that's what you told me. Actions.
Mr. Pace, you say you will be crushed today if DNA results reveal you are not the biological father of your son, Prince.
Yes, Your Honor.
You maintain that the defendant betrayed you by cheating with Prince's second possible father, your best friend.
Mr. Pace comes to Judge Lauren's courtroom with stab marks on his back. He's trying to determine if he's the biological father of his son, after finding out that his best friend could also be the father. Ms. Fobbs, his girlfriend, deeply rues her mistake, but the damage has been done. The best friend, Mr. Randolph, was also present in court without a hint of remorse on his face. Will Mr. Pace be able to soothe his scars, or will he tear a new one?
All right, Mr. Pace?
Yes.
So what's at stake for you and your family today?
Well, what's at stake would be, I would say, 3 relationships. The relationship that I have with Ms. Fobbs, as well as the relationship that I have with Mr. Randolph, also the relationship that I have with Prince. So there is a lot on the line for me. That's my little man.
Mr. Pace revealed that after he met Ms. Fobbs, she moved in with him and Mr. Randolph. She became pregnant shortly after. He then had to move out with her to another place to continue their relationship. Ms. Fobbs said the incident with Mr. Randolph only happened once. It was largely down to the neglect she felt at night because Mr. Pace works at night.
We went out on a few dates. We kind of bonded real quick. She ended up moving in with me and Mr. Randolph. Shortly after her moving in, she became pregnant. Once we found that out, being that she wanted her own space, we ended up moving into another spot together. And that's where I've been ever since as far as...
Ms. Fobbs reiterated that the incident with Mr. Randolph was the biggest mistake of her life. It was never her intention to hurt Mr. Pace, and she wants everything to be okay. Mr. Pace said his work involved promoting night parties at clubs, and he was around a lot of women. This led Ms. Fobbs to think he was being unfaithful. Ms. Fobbs said there were trust issues at times, but not during the incident with Mr. Randolph.
The situation with me and Randolph was a mistake. A big mistake, the worst mistake I think I ever made, because I've never intentionally set out to hurt Byron in any way. I just want this to be okay. I want everything to stay the way it is. I don't want us to separate the situation or anything.
Mr. Pace said one fateful day when he was in a heated argument with Ms. Fobbs, blurted it out of the blue to him that Mr. Randolph, his best friend, could be the potential father of his son. The judge could not wrap her head around it. She had to ask Mr. Pace again. He confirmed it. The whole courtroom gasped. His son was 2.5 years old at the time. He felt betrayed and was upset.
Actually in a heated argument at the time that it occurred, but it kind of just got blurted out to me that Mr. Randolph could be a potential father for Prince.
Wait a minute. So you're in a heated argument as a couple, and just out of the blue she yells, and by the way, your best friend could be Prince's father?
Correct.
Mr. Pace said he called Mr. Randolph to confront him face to face. He took some hours off before meeting up with him because he didn't want to do anything out of anger. The entire courtroom applauded. He came to an agreement with Mr. Randolph that a DNA test will be the best option moving forward. He told the court that Mr. Randolph came clean about sleeping with Ms. Fobbs.
I wanted to meet with him face to face to find out what's going on, but I did take a few hour break as far as before we met because I didn't want to do anything out of anger. Upon meeting with him, we kind of all agreed, me and him agreed.
All attention turned to Mr. Randolph. He said he was not in the right state of mind when the incident occurred. They were both intoxicated. He said Ms. Fobbs will go to clubs to look for Mr. Pace, and she usually returns inebriated. He was the one that always kept her company at night. One day, the talks led to something else. He was also too intoxicated to know if the sex was protected or not.
So, Mr. Randolph, I just have to ask, how could you sleep with your best friend's girl?
Well, to answer that, Your Honor, I wasn't in the right state of mind. We both was intoxicated. You know, he was out promoting club, and she used to come home from the club intoxicated.
He said it only happened one time. Ms. Fobbs also said the same thing. Mr. Pace said one time was one time too many for him. The audience applauded. Mr. Pace said he was confused and nervous, especially about the verdict at the end of the court session. The judge and the entire audience commiserated with him. Mr. Randolph submitted a photo of himself and the child to show the resemblance.
Honestly, that I can recall, yes.
Well, that's it, just one time.
One time is one time too many for me. I'm very confused at this point. It's really hard for me to be standing here in front of you. And
Ms. Fobbs said her method of approach in telling Mr. Pace wasn't the best, but she didn't really know how to tell him. It was weighing down heavily on her conscience. Her son is currently 4 years old. She maintained her stance that she told Mr. Pace when the child was 2 years old. Mr. Pace corrected her that it was 2.5 years. Ms. Fobbs said she just wants her son to have a dad growing up because she didn't.
Approach for me to give it to him at that way, but I just feel like now we're at the point of no return, so I have to do what I have to do.
So you say it was weighing heavy on you?
Yes.
And Prince is how old?
He's 4.
4 years?
Yeah, I didn't tell him when he was 4. I told him when he was 2.
2.5, like 2.5.
Ms. Fobbs said her son only knew Mr. Randolph like an uncle and Mr. Pace as his dad. She insisted that she wants it to remain like that. Mr. Pace stated that they were all adults with no bad blood between them. The kid's paternity was the only bone of contention. Ms. Fobbs said she wants to work on her relationship with Mr. Pace. She claims she's still love. Only the DNA results can settle this triangle of conflict.
Mr. Pace, you are not his father. Continuing on with the next result. Mr. Randolph, you are not. Ms. Moody, you have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Raylan. You hope these results will save your family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Moody was caught between the devil and the deep blue sea as she came to Judge Lauren's courtroom in an attempt to save her family. She claims Mr. Brackens is the father of her child, despite having an affair with another man. Mr. Brackens, on the other hand, believes he's not the father, but he is willing to mend his relationship with Ms. Moody if the result shocks him. Will the odds be in his favor?
We have something beautiful, and I just really need to prove to him that Raylan is his daughter.
And so this is destroying your relationship.
It is.
Ms. Moody took full responsibility for driving the wedge in her relationship with Mr. Brackens. They were childhood sweethearts. They went their separate ways after graduating from high school, but later found each other on social media. She was head over heels for him, but that didn't stop her from stepping out because she was lonely. She needed physical attention and affection.
Anthony and I grew up together, went to school together. We've known each other for a very long time. After graduating high school, we lost, went our separate ways. He went to school, I went to school, and when we caught back up, Anthony was away, he was out of town for a while, and we were contacting each other over social media.
Ms. Moody entertained the other man for a period of 3 to 4 months. She continued entertaining this other man for several weeks despite Mr. Brackens coming back to town. The whole courtroom murmured in disbelief. Mr. Brackens, on the other hand, thought he was in a committed relationship with Ms. Moody until he returned to town. Ms. Moody, in her defense, said she was playing 2 roles in her life because of the dopamine rush.
3 to 4 months, I was entertaining this other man. When Mr. Brackens came back in town, I continued to entertain this other man for several weeks.
Mr. Brackens, did you have any idea this was going on?
Your Honor, the whole time I was away, it felt like we were in a committed relationship.
She said it was very hard to terminate the sexual relationship with the other guy because she has also caught feelings there. Mr. Brackens said he found out about the other guy through a family member. The person gave him the news bluntly that he was not the only one dating Ms. Moody. The judge expressed her shock. He then confronted Ms. Moody, asked her to make a decision between him or the other guy.
It was very hard for me to tell the other guy because I can't lie. I had caught feelings there too. There was a sexual relationship. I had caught feelings there too.
So wait, how did you even find out, Mr. Brackens?
Your Honor, I found out through a family member.
Ms. Moody said she automatically chose Mr. Brackens. She forgot all about the other man, but she didn't know how to let the man down easily because he had no inkling about Mr. Brackens. The judge asked her if she was having sex with both men at the same time. She replied that it was a daily routine for her to spend the night at Mr. Brackens' house and then spend the day at the other man's house. The whole courtroom gasped.
My response was automatically him. There was no question about it. The other guy's feelings, they went out the window. And that's what I had been so worried about for the weeks before. I wanted to kind of lay it down smoothly on him, because he had no clue about Mr. Brackens for the 4 months.
Okay, but for the purposes of this courtroom, we need to understand this specific question.
Ms. Moody found out she was pregnant 1 week and a half after breaking up with the other guy. The whole courtroom gasped. The judge sighed before saying the doubt is real. Ms. Moody echoed her sentiments that the doubt is definitely real. She said that Mr. Brackens accepted her with baggage and made sure she was okay. Mr. Brackens couldn't hold back the tears.
So how soon after you broke up with the other man did you find out you were pregnant?
A week and a half.
Okay, so the doubt is real.
The doubt is very real.
Yes.
Ever since then, the day that he gave me the ultimatum to be with him or to be with this other man, and I chose him.
Ms. Moody said she has been in this type of situation before. She has a 3-year-old child. Mr. Brackens said when he found out that Ms. Moody was pregnant, he had doubts that the other guy could be the father. He later made up his mind to accept the child as his, but he couldn't shake off the feeling that he might end up taking care of another man's child.
Yes, ma'am. I have a 3-year-old child as well.
So, Mr. Brackens, take me to the day you found out Ms. Moody was pregnant.
I kind of had an idea she was taking the pregnancy test and such. She went in my bathroom, took the pregnancy test. I busted in on her. She tells me it's positive, she's pregnant.
Ms. Moody said after she gave birth, the other man started insinuating that her child looked like his other babies. The other man had 3 kids. The other man believed that he was the father. He even requested for a DNA test. Ms. Moody turned it down. She said she was scared of what the outcome might be. Mr. Brackens confirmed that he knew the other man. They grew up together. The entire courtroom was stunned.
After my daughter was born, this man starts getting friends of friends and trying to say, that baby looks so much like my youngest baby. He has 3 children of his own, and he was trying to compare my child to his.
So the other man saw pictures of Raylan?
Yes, Your Honor, he did.
Mr. Brackens said he was the one that signed the baby's birth certificate. He said it will be hard for him to allow the other man to come close to the child. Ms. Moody said she hoped that Mr. Brackens will not abandon her child despite the outcome of the results. She revealed with glistened eyes that Mr. Brackens was a better father than the other man. Only the DNA results can put both parents out of their misery.
Mr. Brackens, you are her father. Ms. Shomo, you confess you had a weekend fling with a coworker while married to the defendant, Mr. Kleckler. Now, because you admit to being intimate with both men during the same 2-day period, you now say you have no idea who fathered your 11-month-old son, Theseus.
Lightning, they say, never strikes the same place twice, but that was not the case for Mr. Kleckler, who was present in court alongside Ms. Shomo and Mr. Freeman. Ms. Shomo admits to having a fling with Mr. Freeman while she was still married to Mr. Kleckler. Now she's not sure who the father of her child is. According to Mr. Kleckler, Ms. Shomo has done something like this before. Who will come out on top, or will it be a Pyrrhic victory?
Your Honor, I was young. I was going through some difficulty, feeling unwanted by my husband, Mr. Kleckler, and I felt Mr. Freeman was giving me more attention than my husband was.
Mr. Kleckler said he had no idea about the affair Ms. Shomo had with Mr. Freeman. She used to keep late nights with kids. They have 3 kids together. He was fed up with it, so he hopped up and left. They later reconciled their differences and got back together. Ms. Shomo said Mr. Kleckler was also seeing somebody at the same time. Mr. Kleckler denied the allegations.
Your Honor, I did not know about the affair.
Nothing about it?
No, Your Honor. She was out late at night, 12, 1 o'clock with the kids. We already got 3 previous children, Your Honor. And I told her she's been doing this, like I said, for a while. I'm not going to put up with it, so I packed my stuff and I left.
Mr. Freeman said when he met Ms. Shomo, he knew she was a married woman. The whole courtroom gasped. He said Ms. Shomo was telling people that Mr. Kleckler was cheating on her. They started talking and one thing led to another. He was aware of the pregnancy when she was a couple of months along. Mr. Kleckler said he found out around the same time too, and Ms. Shomo never told him about the possibility of another man being responsible.
Mr. Freeman, when you met Ms. Shomo, you knew she was a married woman?
Yes, Your Honor. And, you know, she was saying that he was cheating, you know what I'm saying, talking to other females or whatever. So, you know, so we started conversating and talking and it went from there.
Ms. Shomo said she tried shutting Mr. Freeman out of her life. She said she was young. Mr. Kleckler tackled her that she can't use young as an excuse, that they were around the same age. He doesn't have kids with other women. He might have made some mistakes in the past, but none was this dire. Ms. Shomo said Mr. Kleckler narrowly escaped not having kids with other women.
Like I said, I'm young and I wasn't happy.
Your Honor, you can't use young as an excuse for everything. We're the same age. I don't have any other children by anybody else. You know, I'm not making the same mistakes.
Ms. Shomo said it wouldn't have gotten to this stage if Mr. Kleckler didn't cheat on her with his best friend's aunt. The whole courtroom gasped. He started the domino effect that has led up to this day. She said cheating on Mr. Kleckler was never her intention, including staying with him for up to 10 years. She only stayed with him because of her kids.
Your Honor, this would have never came down to this if he didn't cheat on me with his best friend's aunt.
Really?
It completely ruined my life on till this day.
I said I did my dirt.
Because of him is why we are in this position now.
Ms. Shomo said when the child was born, they were happy. The child looked like her, despite her previous kids looking like her husband. She believed Mr. Kleckler was the father. As the baby grew older, her physical attributes started manifesting in the child. She had no reason to be doubtful. She revealed that she and Mr. Freeman used protection throughout their escapades.
God finally blessed me with a child who looked like me. My girls look completely like him, but my boys look just like me. So yes, I was blessed to have a son who looked like me. And with with Mr. Kleckler, I really thought he was his.
Ms. Shomo said the child started looking like Mr. Freeman. She claims Mr. Freeman had told her that he would like her to have a child for him. Mr. Freeman immediately refuted the claims. Mr. Freeman said he never wanted it like that since he knew Ms. Shomo was pregnant. He said one of the condoms got busted and there was nothing he could do. Ms. Shomo said he smirked about it. Mr. Freeman also denied it.
When you started to see or feel like he was looking like Mr. Freeman because you all used protection?
Yes, Your Honor. But within that, Mr. Freeman wanted a baby with me, and he had told me that he had wanted a baby
it wasn't like that.
He said he was going to get me pregnant one way or another.
Not like that.
Ms. Shomo said the physical changes on her child as he grew older started causing a rift between her and Mr. Kleckler. He would come over to her and start to comment about the child's skin getting darker. She said the guilt started eating her up, and that's why she wants to find out the truth today. She also mentioned how Mr. Freeman saw her with the child and said the child kind of looks like him.
And I was seeing me and Mr. Kleckler separating a little bit. We wasn't so close because he would come to me and be like, you know, he's getting darker, he's looking different, and I felt so much guilt in myself, and I was like, you know, I have to get this done.
Mr. Kleckler said he initially had no doubts because his wife didn't tell him about the affair, but as time ebbs on, his co-workers started teasing him. They teased him about the physical appearance of the child when his wife left him. Ms. Shomo said she has dark people in her family ancestry because she's Native American. Mr. Freeman said he would love to have full custody if he's the father. Only the DNA results can tip the scales now.
That the biological father is Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Congratulations, y'all.
So appreciate it. I'll do what I got to do. That's all I got to say.
I'm really relieved. because my son needs a father in his life.
Ms. Thomas, you and the defendant, Mr. McKee, met on an online dating website, and the conversation quickly jumped offline and into Mr. McKee's bed. You believed you were in a committed relationship with the defendant and was devastated when he denied your pregnancy. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
From sweet online lovers to sour real-life couples, Mr. McKee claims he's not the father of Ms. Thomas's 8th child after seeing the baby. Ms. Thomas believed she was in a committed relationship with Mr. McKay after meeting him online. She feels scorned that Mr. McKay is denying paternity for her child. Who will prevail at the end of the day? Will Mr. McKee be off the hook, or will he be reeled in?
And then once we started knowing each other, who we were.
How long did you talk on the phone?
Maybe about a month or two.
Okay.
And then I started going to see him, maybe like a 45-minute drive from where I live, like every other day. So I'm assuming like I'm spending the night, staying the night with him, things like that.
Mr. McKee said he never knew that Ms. Thomas wanted a relationship with him. They never discussed anything pertaining to that. He was only attracted to the pictures of Ms. Thomas he saw online. Ms. Thomas said she would drive for 45 minutes to see Mr. McKay and spend time with him. This went on for about a month.
Did you all ever discuss being in a relationship?
No, ma'am.
Oh, you didn't?
No, ma'am.
So what was it about her that you were attracted to?
That picture she had online.
Okay, so you liked what you saw?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Thomas said when she found out she was pregnant and she told Mr. McKee, he thought she was joking. She then took a pregnancy test and sent him the picture via text message. He was baffled by the message. He said he doesn't know how to read it. She then told him it means she was pregnant. He told her to let him know whatever she decides to do with it. Mr. McKee revealed he blocked her number after the conversation.
And when you find out, you call Mr. McKee and tell him?
Yes, ma'am. And he thought I was just joking, like playing, or just maybe just sick. So maybe like a couple weeks later, I said, let me take a pregnancy test. So I took a pregnancy test. I took a picture of it and I sent it to him through text message.
After she had the baby, she called Mr. McKee with another phone number. The judge couldn't fathom that Mr. McKee blocked Ms. Thomas's number. She told him he was cold-blooded. Ms. Thomas said she kept calling back and she thought his phone number was off. Mr. McKee said he didn't hear from Ms. Thomas during the whole pregnancy. He wasn't there when the child was born.
She hadn't had the baby and called me from another number.
So she called to tell you she was pregnant and you just said okay and then blocked her number?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Oh, you cold-blooded. So you blocked her number and never heard from her again because the number was blocked.
When Ms. Thomas finally got through to Mr. McKee with her new number, she told him about the child. He was still in doubt, so he asked for pictorial proof. When he saw the pictures, he started asking her if she was sure he's the father. He revealed to the court that this was Ms. Thomas's 8th child. The whole courtroom, including the judge, gasped. Mr. McKay said he knew Ms. Thomas had kids, but he didn't know they were up to 7.
And I told him I just had my baby. He still couldn't really believe me. He was like, send me some pictures. He was at work then. He was like, send me some pictures. So I sent him some pictures. And he's like, that's my baby. Are you sure that's my baby? Then he looked at the color of it, like why he's the color he is.
Mr. McKee said his first reaction upon seeing the child was that he looked like he could be from Donald Trump. Laughter erupted throughout the courtroom. The judge opened her mouth in disbelief. Mr. McKee said he meant that the child was biracial. A picture of the child was displayed on the screen. Mr. McKee said it was not only the skin color of the child, but certain physical characteristics.
The baby look like he can be for Donald Trump.
Like, really?
Oh.
Really?
I didn't expect that one.
He thinks the color makes a difference. The color don't make a difference.
I think what you're saying is you thought the baby was biracial? That's what you meant.
Mr. McKee said if Ms. Thomas was meeting him on a dating site, who else was she meeting there? There's also the issue of her having 7 kids prior. That means she was entertaining different types of men. The judge expressed her frustration towards Mr. McKay because she was the one doing all the talking on his behalf. The whole courtroom clapped. Mr. McKee said Ms. Thomas seems kind of easy to have sex with.
You feel like because she has more than one child that she potentially was entertaining a lot of different men.
Right. That's what
and
he's
so it's
say.
not just you she was sleeping with. Is that what you're trying to say?
1 month.
Ms. Thomas said when they started having sex, they were using protection. It was Mr. McKee that suggested that they should stop using protection. She told him she was fertile. The judge admonished Mr. McKee to always believe whenever a woman tells him she's fertile, considering her track records of 7 kids. Ms. Thomas said she hid the pregnancy from her family because she was ashamed of having another child without a father.
I just had a baby a year or 2 ago. So you know I'm fertile, so I can't. So this particular time we didn't have anything, so.
I get it. You don't have to go any further. No, but the point is this, though. I will say this, Mr. McKee. Once a woman tells you she's fertile, you believe her.
Right.
Ms. Thomas said she will apologize to Mr. McKay if it turns out that the child is not his, but she's 100% confident that he's the father. She said Mr. McKee adores the child, but he constantly questions the skin color. Mr. McKee said several people have asked him if the child's mother was white, and they were always shocked to find out the mother was black. Only the DNA results can put this squabble to rest.
Mr. McKee, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
He is not the father, Miss Thomas.
I'll be